Hello again. This is Pastor Chris Cervantes, and I'm just continuing on with our reading of White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. This is by Robin DiAngelo, with a foreword by Eric Dyson, which you can find in one of the earlier recordings. For now, I'm hoping to finish Chapter 1 today. When we began with Chapter 1, let's see. Just kind of tell you what came just before this so that we're all kind of in the same space. Chapter 1, the challenges of talking to white people about racism. And then Robin DiAngelo lists those challenges, and I'll tell you what we've already talked about. We don't see ourselves in racial terms as white people. Our opinions on the experiences of black people are uninformed. And she provides lots of evidence for each of these, which you can find in earlier recordings or by buying the book yourself. Please do. We don't understand socialization. And today we move on to the final challenge. We have a simplistic understanding of racism. So, with all that said, let's begin. I'm actually going to read off of a screen. This is my third copy that I've bought. So here we go. The final challenge we need to address is our definition of racist. In the post-civil rights era, we have been taught that racists are mean people who intentionally dislike others because of their race. Racists are immoral. Therefore, if I am saying that my readers are racist, or even worse, that all white people are racist, I am saying something deeply offensive. I am questioning my readers' very moral character. How can I make this claim when I don't even know my readers? Many of you have friends and loved ones of color, so how can you be racist? In fact, since it's racist to generalize about people according to race, I must be the one who's being racist. So let me be clear. If your definition of a racist is someone who holds conscious dislike of people because of race, then I agree that it is offensive for me to suggest that you are a racist when I don't know you. I also agree that if this is your definition of racism and you are against racism, then you are not racist. Now, breathe. I am not using this definition of racism, and I'm not saying that you are immoral. If you can remain open as I lay out my argument, it should soon begin to make sense. In light of the challenges raised here, I expect that white readers will have moments of discomfort reading this book. This feeling may be a sign that I've managed to unsettle the racial status quo, which is my goal. The racial status quo is comfortable for white people, and we will not move forward in race relations, if we remain comfortable. The key to moving forward is what we do with our discomfort. We can use it as a door out. Blame the messenger and disregard the message. Or we can use it as a door in by asking, why does this unsettle me? How does this lens change my understanding of racial dynamics? What would it mean for me personally if this was true? How can my unease help reveal the unexamined assumptions I've been making? Is it possible that because I'm white, there are some racial dynamics that I can't see? Am I willing to even consider that possibility? If I'm not willing to do so, then why not? If you're reading this and still making your case from why you are different from other white people and why none of this applies to you, please stop and take a breath. Now, return to the questions above and keep working through them. To interrupt white fragility, we need to build our capacity to sustain the discomfort of not knowing, the discomfort of being racially unmoored, the discomfort of racial humility. Our next task is to understand how the forces of racial socialization are constantly at play. The inability to acknowledge these forces inevitably leads to the resistance and defensiveness of white fragility. To increase the racial stamina that counters white fragility, we must reflect on the whole of our identities, and our racial group identity in particular. For white people, this first means struggling with what it means to be white. That is the end of the chapter, and this is a short day, so thank you for being here with me, and in the name of all that is holy, let us continue this conversation, and beyond this conversation, let's continue the work of dismantling white supremacy in our own communities, homes, churches, and workspaces. Amen.